Welcome to the comprehensive DDD guide. In this 10-part series, I will explain everything you need to know to start off and become an excellent DDD player and unleash the power of capitalism with our corporate demons. Part 10. How to play the TCG. Last time we have learned how to build our own DDD deck that suits our flavor of playstyle. And this time I will show you how to go from Master Duel to TCG and play in real life. First things first, this is what you need. You need YGO Neuron, a dice or dices, a nice playmat for your cards, and foods or drinks depending on what you need when you think a lot. Because I will guarantee you, if you think a lot with our deck in real life, it is exhausting. So you better get the energy. First up is Neuron. Set up your Neuron profile and deck list. Make sure you have the app already on your phone. Then set up your account and afterwards create your own deck list. This is very important, especially if you go into a larger tournament, for example regionals. Because after submitting the deck list, the judges can make sure that you actually play the cards that you have typed in the system. And the Neuron app in itself is used to actually know and figure out your next matchup or the table that you're sitting at. Next, learn how to shuffle your DDDs properly. Our deck has around 42 to 44 or even more cards, so try to shuffle it somehow so that it doesn't brick. That's the advantage of the real world, because you are not dependent on the MD shuffler. And from the experience I've gotten, please shuffle it in piles first so that it gets an equal distribution. I would recommend you to shuffle 7 piles and then riffle shuffle for 5 times. Afterwards, it is more randomized but still equally distributed so that you don't brick as much. So let me show you how. Okay, here we go. This time in real life. As you can see, I am shuffling all the 7 piles as I've mentioned. It is important to note that the pile shuffling method only works if you have sorted your deck properly before that, meaning that you have stacked all the duplicates on top of each other. That's the most important thing. I would recommend that you stack the starters first, then the extenders, then the non-engine, and then the spell, and then the trap cards. Now after you've finished to do your piles properly, now you are ready to scoop them up. You have to do it from left to right or from right to left, but you have to keep it consistently. That's the most important thing. And after all that, you have pile shuffled them successfully. Congratulations! Now, after pile shuffling, you have to now riffle shuffle, because if you don't do that, that would be cheating. And we don't do that here. We might want to increase our chances, but we still want to have fair play, right? Remember that. And try to riffle shuffle in an odd number, because you have an odd number of piles, right? So either 1, 3, 5 or 7. 1 would be to stack, 3 is the minimum I would say, 5 is very good, and 7 takes way too long. But to each their own, maybe you like it. So just give it a try and find out. And to do it, you have to split it in half, and then you just have to keep the bottom half as loose as possible so that all the other cards just fall right in, as you can see. Try to get the halves right between each other, without letting every other stacked card just there. That's the most important thing, to really shuffle it through. And that's it. That's the riffle shuffle. After you're finished, you can just simply place your deck so that your opponent can cut it or shuffle it again. Okay, next, how to activate Swirl the smart way. So to remind yourself, Swirl fuses from the hand, right? Well, usually when you activate his effect, your opponent is permitted to activate another effect as Chainlink 2-2. So to hide as much information as possible for your opponent, when you activate Swirl, never reveal your other fusion material. So you basically go about it like this. Okay, so from the just shuffled deck right now, I have drawn a test hand. In this test hand, we already have Swirl already, which is very practical. So how do we go about this? To activate Swirl, you have to announce that you want to activate Swirl from the hand, and then your opponent might think, wait, I want to think about it. So what do? And the most optimal way to put it is right on the spell trap zone so that the opponent can read your card and think about it. Now you just chill and wait whether your opponent wants to change something onto it. The most important thing here is you don't want to reveal your other fusion material right away because you don't even know whether your Swirl resolves or not, right? And now you wait for any kind of response. And if there isn't, then you can actually put it to the grave with your fusion material, in this case our Necro Slime in the hand, and then you fuse away. And here comes the Genghis. Voila. Same thing for Rage. How do you activate his effect the smart way? By the official rulebook definition, bullet point effects only have to be declared on resolution. So let's say this is your board state. You have just banished your Swirl Slime out of the grave so that you get your Rage out there, right? And then now you want to announce that you want to activate one of Rage's effect. In this time frame, your opponent is permitted to change something onto it, but you are not forced to tell your opponent what kind of effect you have chosen. The only thing that you are required to do is to tell him what these 3 effects are. But the thing is, you can still let him guess which one you might pick. As you can see, hiding as much information as possible is the key in the TCG. And be adamant about not telling your opponent which of these effects you have chosen until you resolve it. That's the most important thing. So let's assume I contributed off to activate the effect, right? Now my opponent has to guess what kind of effect I actually want to activate, and then after his guessing game is finished, he might want me to let it resolve, and then I resolve it, and then I announce to him, oh yeah, I wanted to deactivate all your hand traps and graveyard effects. And now he's cooked. Okay, how to reshuffle after side decking. First, you have to side out the cards that you don't need. Then you have to take out the cards from your side deck that you actually need and place them by doing 7 piles again. Next, psych your opponent out. Since it's the TCG, it's important to keep a poker face in crucial moments. So even though you're losing, never give them the certainty that it is that case. Always be confident and try to win it somehow. And this may create opportunities where your opponent will get flustered and just makes mistakes on the way so that you can come into the game again. And lastly, rule shark if necessary. Some people will play dirty, so hit them with your rulebook knowledge if they want to screw you over with the rules. For example, if you have the case where you have resolved an effect and your opponent did not respond correctly or in time because he didn't care to read your cards, don't let him correct his mistake by allowing him to redo it all over again. This is super important since you play DDDs. Most people will not know what your cards do, so the surprise factor of our deck is huge, and our deck thrives from the misplays of our opponents. So please remember that and correct them and fact check them if necessary. Okay, congratulations! This time for the last time. You as a senior manager have graduated. I'm so proud of you because I truly don't have anything to teach you anymore. You are now a professional of what you're doing and you really do know how to play this deck properly. So here, let me hand you over your certificate and your hat. You have really deserved it. And as a final goodbye, thank you for watching. I have really appreciated it. You are really awesome to have stuck through all this time. Make sure to visit me sometime in a different dimension. And with this, I wish you good luck on your journey and have a nice time. This is Different Dimension Dreamer, over and out. Wow, you're still here. Huh. This is unexpected. Well, since you're here, I have a special announcement. There will be a couple other series in the making, so stay tuned.